Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at ActionCOACH in Central Texas. And today I am honored to be sitting down with Jordan Brown, one of the owners of 10 Pillar Productions here in the Central Texas area. I've had the opportunity to get to know Jordan a bit over the last couple years, about a little over a year now, I think. But have
Years,
had
yeah.
some, yeah, have had some really good conversations, things like that. Excited to have him sitting down with me today to chat about his business, about his journey into entrepreneurship and business ownership and things like that. So Jordan, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm going to hand it over to you. Let's share with us a little bit about what is 10 Pillar Productions and what do y'all do? Let's just start with kind of some basic background of the business.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, definitely thanks for having me on, Tanner. I'm excited to kind of just talk a little bit more about me, about the business, and kind of just our relationship as well, too. So it's exciting. Thanks again for having me. Yeah, so 10 Pillar Productions, we are a video and film production company. So we help brands create commercial video content as well as produce like our own film content as well. It's kind of like a two-sided business where we're doing film production with narrative work and creative music videos and stuff like that. But then we also have a commercial and corporate side where we're creating video content for all sorts of brands, other clients, all sorts of different kind of people. So
It's beautiful. What do you all do more of today versus maybe even a year ago? Do you do more on the commercial side? Is a little bit more on the other side of the equation? Kind of what does that look like? Who's typically I like to just ask like who's your best customer? If I'm watching this today, how do I know that I'm a really good fit to working with y'all?
yeah, I mean, I'd probably say we do about 60-40, 60. I mean, 60% of our time is focused on the commercial side, helping our clients create video content for their marketing. And then the other 40% is doing like our own marketing as well with doing behind the scenes content of all of our films and stuff like that as well, too. So I'd say 60% commercial, 40% film. It's two different sides of what production is, but it all falls under that umbrella of production, right? So it's a lot of fun. To go into your question about kind of like who we help and how we work, I'll definitely talk more a little bit on the commercial side of that because really like it's really broken down to two different pieces. We have like our industries that we see, not only that we are helping, but also get the most interest back. But then I'd like to start with actually who we kind of get our like most of our referrals from, which is marketing agencies. Right. So that's like our ideal referral partner is somebody that is already doing marketing for their company. So whether they're like a CMO or a director of marketing for like their brand, or if they're a digital marketing agency owner and they are a company that another company outsources to do their marketing. Right. So what we found is that a lot of marketing agencies don't have in-house videographers, photographers, and content creators. So we've been a great resource to partner with marketing agencies to help develop video content for their clients. Right. So that's like a partnership. That's a referral partner that we work with oftentimes. And then some of those other lanes that we see that we're like getting the most involved in has been law firms is one of our other lanes that like we've seen that we've worked with directly. Um, Law firms, we've gotten into some healthcare, we've gotten into some like jewelers, like custom jewelry, and then beer, wine, and liquor has been like the four lanes that we've kind of not only like done the most work with, but also just seen the most interest back, right? The agencies will send us to whichever type of client we need to go to, right? So that I mean, I could list off every industry that you want to. I know you work in marketing stuff as well too, Tanner. But that's just an idea of like what we're actually seeing on our day to day, who we're helping, who we're working with. That's just like a general weekday kind of client. So
I love that. I've got to ask the question because it's come up, a number of times over the last really couple years, but I think just it's been way more prevalent in the last, I'll call it 18 months. But um, how important do you feel video is today for, businesses that are out there? They're doing some marketing. There's a lot of different, ways to put content out there, but how important is video today compared to what it was, even 2, 3, 4 years ago?
yeah, it's insane and it's always changing, right? It's always changing and it's our job to always adapt to what that looks like to help our clients with their marketing, right? Because it is kind of weird because I work in production and then assist people that work in marketing, right? So I am a little biased. I definitely love video. I'm a visual learner. I am a video content kind of person. But if you ask anybody right now, everybody's scrambling to figure out how they can create more video content, just like we're doing right now. And this is a great example to do video content on your own as well too. But a lot of our clients, they're busy professionals. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They don't have the knowledge. So we kind of have filled this lane of like helping you create video content that's not only professional, but getting regular video content as well for your business. Because if you ask anybody in marketing, if you're asking people that are keeping up with the trends of all your platforms, video content is king.
Mm,
So that's been a way that we've been able to help, right? Because all the other stuff is great, right? SEO, photos, anything that you're doing in marketing is going to help you to some degree. But right now, with where podcasts are going and with where commercials are and with how much like vertical social media video content is being created right now, I mean, it's crazy. So that's been where we've been trying to help people create like regular consistent video content for their brands, because that's where we're seeing the most engagement, the most clicks, the most watch time, because the longer if people are connecting with you, the more likely they are to want to work with you, right? So that's been how we've been able to help.
love that. So let's take a step back. Talk a little bit about the
Sure.
business and what you all do and how you help, that sort of thing. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into your story. You're owner of a business, continuing to grow and build that. How did this all get started for you? Was there anything before 10 Pillars? Was this kind of the first
Yeah.
out of the box? This is the first business we're jumping into. Tell us a little bit about that background, that journey to what got you to here where you're at today.
Yeah, for sure. My journey actually starts my senior year of high school. So I was very involved in. I'm a baseball player. I was a catcher back in high school. I even played college baseball as well too. And then I was also on the drum line and in percussion. So I was very busy with my being involved in my high school and in my extracurriculars. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do going into college. And I had already been accepted to Sam Houston State University over in Huntsville, Texas, up in North Houston. Um, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. Did I want to pursue baseball? Was it going to be band? I didn't really know exactly what I was going to do. And then my senior year comes around, and I had the opportunity to do another extracurricular activity, and I landed on the AV audio video production class. I knew the teacher. She was my speech teacher, and she also did the AV class. I was like, well, I mean, I like cameras. I like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'll try it, whatever. Fell in love with it immediately, half because of the content, half because of my teacher, who I give still credit to and talk with today. She has been, I mean, one of like my biggest like mentors, and she's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here today, right? So a great teacher and some awesome, finally something I was like, I feel like I could like want to learn more about all this stuff, editing, production, producing, directing, storytelling, all of it, right? And by the time I'm starting to realize I'm going to college, right? It's like actually when it gets real, I found out that they had a video and film production program that I could major in. And I was like, this might be like the perfect sign, right? So I was like, well, okay, I'll just try that. And if it doesn't really go where I want it to go, then I'll change. You can always change your major. So yeah, didn't do that, have yet to look back. And that is kind of like my personal story as far as like how I got into production. I don't know if do you want me to go kind of more in depth into like where then Tim Pillar comes into that? I don't know if I answered your initial question
Yeah,
first.
no, yeah, that gives a great kind of background and context that I think sets up the rest of this here. But yeah, the natural kind of next piece of this, where does 10 Pillars come into the equation? You know, what did the journey, I guess really, did the journey go straight into I'm going to be a business owner and we're going to start something? Was there something
Okay.
before that step? And ultimately, the big question I like to ask is why? Why go into business
Right.
for yourself versus I can go be, have that same type of a role, right? Working for
Right.
somebody else. Why make this choice? Was that the path you always wanted? Did you fall into it? That was a whole bunch of like questions all in one, but that's kind of where we're
Okay.
headed. So take it
Gotcha.
away from there, and I can help refine some of that with further
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
as needed.
No problem. No problem. Okay. Well, so yeah. Well, then that takes us into Sam, which Sam Houston is pretty much that's where 10 Pillar kind of started, right? Because the group that I kind of worked with then, we were not only creating class projects together, but we were also doing our own films and music videos and projects outside of class as well too. And we kind of all developed like a similar, style of what we wanted to do in the industry. So it's kind of those like the people that you're going to find in me are going to flock together, right? The ones that want to do it right are going to flock together. The ones that don't really care as much, they're going to flock together. We were definitely the group that went above and beyond to want to really get into the industry and produce content and stuff like that. So, and moving a little bit ahead here, those people that I worked with in college is still the people that I work with today. Right. So that is my business partners. That is our people that we contract to. I mean, the people, you lose some, you gain some as well as you go, but like that's still the group that I met in college and us doing little short films and class projects, a while ago now. That's still the group that I work with professionally today, right? So, we worked on a bunch of projects after college. We kind of go straight into the industry. A lot of us were like, well, I mean, 10 Pillar would be great to do. That'd be cool as a job. I don't know. We probably need to get some experience, more experience first. So a lot of the group kind of went their own ways and did their own thing. For me personally, I went straight into the industry. I was working on commercial stuff in Houston. I worked on a Texans commercial. I worked on a Houston Public Library commercial. I worked on an MD Anderson commercial, just working my way up, learning things, how it works, how it doesn't. And then I worked on a movie in Dallas for like 3 months as well too. So I was all over the industry, and then that got me back into. I took a marketing job. That was kind of like a marketing coordinator. I was doing some video stuff, doing some lead gen position. And while I was there, it was good. It was fine, but we were also just kind of like, well, we've kind of always had 10 Pillar on the side. I wonder if we like really committed. Like, do you think we could just do this ourselves and create videos and help brands and do all that? And my business partner Trey, so him and I are both full time. We work for the company. He was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good with like trying to do our own thing." So in 2020 is when we realized that we're doing good work with other companies and doing stuff, and I'm sure there's a career in that, right? But we also were like, but we want to create our own content for the brands that we're working with and create the content that we want to make through films as well too, right? And we're like, we just don't really see where that fits in by just doing it kind of for somebody else, right? So we were always like, we want to do what we want to create, and we know what we can create not only will help businesses, but it'll be fun too with the film stuff, right? So that's kind of a long-winded way to kind of answer your question.
No, I love that, and I think your story really of ready to go do something. Can we do it on our own? Can we start to have the freedom to do the creative outlets that we want?
Right.
I think that's going to resonate with a lot of others who will watch these videos and hear these stories, right? I mean, that's how a lot of us get into business.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I don't necessarily always ask on here, but it kind of pops into my mind, and I get the sense that you might be able to kind of think through this and give me an answer. But when you look at kind of what that vision was, 2-3 years ago now, when you started the business, to what your vision is today of where the business is headed and what you want to accomplish with it, has that changed? And if so, what are some of the things that are in the vision today?
Yeah, man. I mean, at this point too, still a lot of growth within the business. We technically started where like Trey came on full time in 2020, and I came on full time in April 2021. So still a lot of growth, still a lot of development. We've come a long way in a pretty short amount of time as well too, which is really exciting. I would say we're still on our long-term goals of like, at some point, I mean, we want to see it where it can expand to where we can hire our people and we can have people oversee the commercial division. We have a music video division. We have our film division. We're able to kind of put our time into what we want to work on, depending on when that is, right? So making it expanding, being an established production company in Austin, having a studio space, right? Like these are all kind of ideas that have been really only developed within the last couple years that we're still working on. That if you would have asked me a year ago, I'd have been like, there's no way we're even close to any of that, right? And then now we're like talking about potentially hiring some editors, hiring some people. It's just like we have bigger vision, and it just seems like it gets more real and real as we go. So I would say we're still on the path of what we've kind of set, right? So and I think going back to like just reiterate as well of like the why of like why we want to do this is like it's not only just to create our own content, which is a big part of it, right? Producing films, doing that side of production as well too, but that us running our own business also allows us to be creative with our clients as well too on the commercial side, right? Where if you're with the business, they go shoot this is how it's going to be, that's it, right? Where with us, we really have time to develop ideas and help and support our clients with the types of different content that we can be creating for them, right? So it really is just like kind of that like being able to create what we want to create for anything that we're getting involved in, whether that's any of our little our lanes, right? Film, music video, commercial. So
Mm, love that. Um, so on any journey in life, especially business ownership, and I expect or would anticipate that the answer here is very similar to your journey is very similar to others who've been, on the path of business ownership before, which is that of ups and downs, right? It's almost never a linear path that is, I start
yeah.
here and I just continue to go up and it's always great. There's usually ups and downs. So you can tell me if this is not the case for you and you're the one special one I want to go learn everything from. But with that being very common in the world today, that everything has ups and downs and challenges and successes and all of that kind of stuff, I'm curious, what are some of the roadblocks or hurdles that you've kind of encountered along your journey that have been I like to use the word pivotal now, not necessarily in the sense it's like, oh, this was like the one thing that happened and we were able to change everything, but what were some of the things that you were faced with that you've had to learn to overcome or get around or
Yeah.
adapt to that has springboarded or helped you continue to grow specifically as a business owner?
Yeah, I think something that really, as somebody that does, so Trey, my business partner, is kind of more the creative director, and I'm more the operations director. So he's the cameraman, I'm the producer. He works on a lot of technical while I do a lot of sales and networking, right? So, like on my side, I don't have a huge sales background, but I'm good with people. So that was kind of something that I really was like, all right, I can take that over. I like that. I enjoy that. But it was definitely a huge thing that I'm still 100%. I think I always will be working on. I know for sure the biggest hurdle at first was how do I package this up as something to even sell, right? Like what does that even look like? And that has developed, that's still developing since I started full time to today on how that best works and adapts for this specific client. Like it's just different for everybody, right? People go, how much does it cost? I'm like, well, hold on, I can't just give you a number. It's really like depends on each project and how it's going to work and what you're going to use it for. So it's like that's definitely been a big hurdle that I've continued to develop and work on. And what I realized to like help me sleep at night and just like sales stuff as well too is that a lot of what I'm doing is educating people on what it is that we do, right? Like I'm not a salesman. I don't want to be a salesman. I want to help people create video content, right? And a lot of people don't know what goes into that, right? So being first and foremost an educator and being somebody that can go, hey, I can bounce these questions and ideas off that I don't even really know. It's the classic like I don't even know the questions to ask. I don't even know where to begin, right? Like I want to just be that person to help people understand what all goes into the process, how it's done, right? Help you brainstorm and answer questions on things that you don't know, right? So that's definitely been a big hurdle that I definitely always worked on of like, don't treat it so much as like I'm trying to sell what we're doing rather than educating people on what we're doing, right? So
Hmm.
definitely been a big hurdle.
I love that. I think it's really important to have those conversations and thoughts around what it looks like to truly develop the packaged product, and what does the sales process look like for your
Right.
service, your industry, your widgets, whatever it is that you're
Right.
in business for. But knowing as a avid business person, I also want to kind of get your sense on what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in business itself. Going from here's the thing that we do versus now I've got a business that we're also running that
Yeah.
has this type of product or service.
Right.
What are some of the biggest takeaways or lessons that you've had in just the process of learning in business?
Yeah, because it's separate, right? I'm a videographer, but then I'm also a business owner, which is two different jobs, right? A lot of people don't tell you that when you start to go into it, right? You just say, oh, I'll just start a business and I'll do the product part. But then you're not ever working on the actual business, right? As the business owner doing business owner work. So definitely I've learned a lot. I think the first one that I would say is especially if you're starting out, right, or you're getting into it, or you're trying to start your own business, is the idea of there's always going to be more to do, right? There's always more. There's plenty of stuff to do. You were trying to wear all these hats and do marketing, and then you're doing sales, and then you're doing business owner work, and then you're doing customer support, and then you're doing everything, especially starting out, right? I think the important thing to remember that's helped me is that you are not going to get this all done today, next week, next month. Like, put aside some time. Like, I use time blocking where I'll go, I'm going to work for an hour on this, and then I'm going to move on to this, and then this, right? Try to accomplish like three things that you're trying to get done of your 50 tasks that you have to do. And those 50 tasks are always ongoing, right? As you know, Tanner. But you have to give yourself some grace as the business owner to like, look, I'm not going to get this all done today. It's going to take time. And I just need to not get overwhelmed with all of it at once and just attack it piece by piece, realize how much you can actually accomplish, even with just a small team like the 10 pillar team is currently. Right. So definitely a big one for us.
That is a big lesson. It's really, really important. So for those of you that have that same type of issue, go back, record, rewind a little bit,
Yeah.
and make sure you listen to that again because it is really important. Jordan, I always like to ask the question about kind of the keys to success. Now, I like to try and frame this the best I can. You can go out there and you can type in, what are all the gurus doing, right? They're waking up early. They've got certain routines that they follow, things like that.
Yeah.
And, everybody's got their idea of, what makes them successful. And I'm a firm believer of, it really depends on the individual and what do you feel is most
Yeah.
successful for you. So I always like to ask a question, kind of what are your current keys to success? What are the things um, that you do consistently, uh, whatever that looks like? What things do you have or do in your life that help you achieve success? Because you've achieved success by most people's measure of success. You've gone out, you've accomplished something, you're continuing to build, always in the process of it, but there is success here. So with all of that context and a little bit of framework,
Yeah.
what would you say are your kind of keys to success, quote unquote?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways. I'm a big like leadership and team building kind of person. I love that kind of stuff. Did a lot of that in high school, did a lot of it in college. I have always considered myself a leader as well too. And I love that kind of stuff. I know one of the biggest things for me is like one of our pillars of the 10 pillars, and it's the first and foremost, is expecting to succeed, right? I love this mindset is that it's great to hope, it's great to have hope, but at the end of the day you need to know that you're going to do what you want to do, right? Like, I expect to succeed, right? Which is kind of like it kind of like it reassures you again, it like helps you sleep at night, is like, no, I'm going to succeed, right? So it's a very like that's this my athlete background, right? Same thing with hitting, right? When I get into the box, am I hoping to get a hit? No, I'm expecting to hit a double and help my team, right? And pass the torch to the next guy, right? That's a big one for me. That's always like, I feel like I always come back to if I'm nervous about a client, if I'm nervous about a big shoot, if I feel like we bit off more than we could chew, if something's going wrong, I just always lean back on like, but I expect to succeed in what I'm doing, right? And I definitely think that that's like one of the biggest things I've always falled back on. It's like the first and foremost thing that I love. I think it's a great lesson just in itself, what that means to you as well, with expect to succeed. But like you said too, like it's also dependent on the person. And I know like another thing is like one of the reasons we didn't want to go to LA and pursue that, or go to New York and pursue that in the industry, is like there's always people that go, this is how you do it, this is how it gets done. um Once you know the line of like how the industry works, or how what you do works, you then take that and do it your way, right? Like that's been something for me for sure too, is like I know the ins and outs of production. We're experts in production, but there's things that I wanted to do differently when I'm producing a project versus what somebody else is going to do it, right? So understanding like that you can adapt to how it makes sense to you, right? That's also been something that's totally like never let me down, is just like a lot of people, they just need it to get done. So however you're going to get there, I'll leave that to you, right? And I've always found that as like a great opportunity. Some people will kind of turn away from that, but I think it's a great opportunity to realize like, okay, I can kind of just do this how it makes sense to me, right? And then the last one for me, I think one of the biggest ones, I think it's probably one of my favorite ones as well too, behind expect to succeed, but also one of our pillars is to take care of the little things, right? So these are things that anybody and everybody can do, right? Again, going back to baseball, this is picking up trash in the dugout. This is taking an extra round of batting practice. This is being good at all the little things that nobody else really cares about, right? Because everybody can be good, or make that big play, and then it's awesome. But taking care of all those little things gets you to those point of those big projects getting done, of that big hit, of that, that big moment that you're looking for. If you're not taking care of all the little things, you're never going to get there, right? It's those little things that you can accomplish every day that will lead to a bigger project, bigger moment, bigger success.
Well said. Like those. I made
Thank
sure
you.
to take note of all three of those, and I'll make sure to put it in the notes of the video here once we get this up, because those are really powerful. So earmark it, go back, make sure that you rewatch this piece of the video over and over again, write it down, kind of internalize it for yourself and what that means. So, oh, that's awesome, Jordan. I've only really got kind of two questions left. I want to be respectful of our time here together. If you look back on kind of your journey thus far, and I'm sure that there have been several people in your life that have given different pieces of advice, maybe some better than others. But is there any like one piece of advice that either you would say is like the best piece of advice you've ever gotten, or maybe just stands out more than the rest, given where you are today?
So a lot of my stuff comes from like five people um, that like really had an impact on me, right? So like my youth pastor, my band director, a couple baseball coaches, high school, college baseball coach, and then my parents, right? A lot of the stuff that's like molded me to where I'm at today has come from stuff like that, from those people, right? And my video teacher, right? She's also in there as well too. I'm gonna go six. I guess it'd be seven if it's mom and dad, but you get what I'm saying. That core group of, I think everybody can come up with 4 to 5 adults when you were growing up that really helped mold like what you think and how you are as a person, right? And I think one of the biggest ones for me would come from my college coach, and a lot of the stuff that's from leadership came from my college coach as well too. So I also don't want to take credit for everything, right? Because this is all stuff that I've learned as well too by going through different leadership stuff, and my college coach is definitely a big part of that. I think one of the best things that he said to me that just made sense, not only in baseball, but in life, is you ought to want to see the person in front of you or behind you in the lineup succeed more than you want to see yourself succeed, right? Which is a really tough thing to kind of grasp if you've not really ever been a part of a team, because or just in general, there's a lot of things, especially today, is all about me. It's about me and how I feel and about what I do. It's all about me, right? But if you can have that like mindset of being like, no, I also want to see my other friend from college doing his own video thing. I want to see him succeed just as much as I want to succeed myself, if not more, right? Which is the quote. I want to see him succeed more, which is really hard. But I think it's the best kind of thing that I've ever been told about my approach to looking to life, right? Because it's easy to get bitter or get jealous or, start to, yeah, I mean, just bitter and jealous, right? About somebody else and how their success is going. But I think if you can take a step back and go, I want them to be successful as well as I want to be successful, that's when you really start to see growth, team building, and real like leadership to me. I think that's probably one of the best things. And that goes into the lineup, right? Wanting to see the guy behind me get the big hit more than I want to, but then also like in professional life and just your life as well too, is wanting to see everybody else around you succeed, especially the people that are in your circle, right? So
I love that. I absolutely do because I've had similar mentors teach similar topics. I think it all comes down to kind of that fundamental core of what people teach, right? But yeah, I'll share kind of one of the things that I was taught was the what you deny in others, you deny in self. So if you see people with success, to your left and to your right, and all you do is deny it in them because you didn't get it, right? Then you're
yeah,
denying it in yourself, really, as well. So when you lift up everybody else and you celebrate other people's successes and you want them to do well, you're
right,
inviting that into your life, which I think is, very similar teaching
right.
to what you just shared.
And
So
even if it's also fake, right? Even if it's fake, but it's also you're just taking everything out of you just to go, I'm happy for you, like even if it's fake, it's better than bringing people down, right? Like
yeah,
that's something that I found too when I was a high school coach for my old high school. I was coaching the summer team, and it's like even if you can fake it till you make it, right? Even if this is just if you fake it, it's still more of an impact than being negative, right? It's the whole thing where you go back from, are you helping or are you hurting or are you doing nothing? And if you're doing nothing, you're hurting, right? So it's like it's all kind of goes back into that. And even like faking it till you make it on the helping side is going to be more valuable than you think, right? Which again goes back to like these types of things are all things that everybody can do. It doesn't take any talent. It just takes effort, right? So
love that. So Jordan, before I wrap up with my kind of end question that I love to end kind of all these interviews on, before we get to that, where tell us where we can find out more information about you, about 10 Pillars, if we want to connect, if we want to learn more about how we can do business with you, check out some of your work, anything like that.
yeah.
Give us the lowdown of where we can find out more information, follow you, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our website is basically like our portfolio, and you can reach out to us there, just 10pillarproductions.com. But then we do our own content as well too on all of our social platforms, especially our Instagram, our Facebook. That's a great way to follow us as well too, to kind of keep up to date with what we're doing, the projects we're working on. We have a lot of cool like behind the scenes videos that we post as well too. Instagram, 10 Pillar Productions at everything. You'll be able to find us everywhere. And then LinkedIn, obviously, too, for me, like personally, feel free. I'd love to. I'm all over the place all the time. I love all the different chats and all the different stuff. But yeah, website, social, easiest way to keep in touch with us and reach out. So
Beautiful. And I will make sure to link most of those down in the video notes below so it'll be easy for y'all to check out. I'm going to give y'all a quick shout out because back in, oh gosh, it was April of last year, so April 2020, we had a big membership launch. I think it was about 100 and some people in the room, and we brought in founder of Action Coach Brad Sugars to do a big event, and y'all did our video production. And it was phenomenal. Some
thank you.
interviews, testimonials, things like that. Just production of the entire thing. So if you're on this channel already and you're watching this video, you scroll all the way down. I think it's like the first or second video, like in our entire lineup. They're there. Check them out. I mean, testament to the work that y'all do. It's phenomenal. Thank y'all for doing that with
Yeah,
us. God, can't believe that's
absolutely.
already been almost a year ago.
It's crazy.
But
I know.
but yeah, huge shout out, like really and truly. It's y'all do some great work. So encouraging
Thank you.
everybody to at least go check out your information, go check out the work that y'all have done, because it is pretty profound in what I've seen at least, and it's been pretty cool. So
Absolutely.
um,
Thank you so much. That means the world. Thank you very much for saying that.
of course, Jordan, as we wrap this up here, I've got one question to wrap us out, and that is, what is most inspiring to you today?
What is most inspiring? Man, definitely my wife and my family, just in general. My wife works really hard as well too. She's a big reason why I get to do what I want to do also. My wife is definitely very inspiring to me. But then I'd also say just getting to see, like when I'm on set, especially we're on a bigger production, we're on set, and getting to see something that we've created actually happening, right? And then getting to see it go into the editing and actually get done. There's no like you can't there's no other feeling like that, right? There's no other way to chase that except to just keep going and keep working on these projects. And I think that those two things definitely, my wife, and then just seeing the productions that we are able to put on, it keeps me going.
Amazing. Jordan, thank you so much for taking the time. For everybody
Of
who's
course.
watching 10 Pillars Productions, go check them out. But Jordan, I appreciate this a bunch. It's been fun to just having this conversation, learn a little bit more about the journey, about some of the other background stuff, and really just the fact that you're willing to sit here and kind of share it with us all, and so we can learn and connect and have some fun. So thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope something that I said could be taken as valuable. So I appreciate you letting me join, and it's been great, and we love working with you guys as well too, Tanner. So it's been good.